friends, welcome back to the discussion of communication in this session. I will continue with nonverbal communication. In the previous discussion, we have discussed about kinesthetics and proxemics. Today, I am going to talk about chronomics. This is another aspect of nonverbal communication, chronomics, which is about the role of type in communication. If it is about facial expressions, eye movements, then at the same time, time also plays very important a role in understanding or transmitting messages in the process of communication. So, to what extent a person perception and value he or she places on time plays a considerable role in the process of communication. You are prompt, that shows your interest in the job. You are delaying in communicating the message, transmitting the message, that shows your lethargy or disinterest in performing the job. Therefore, the use of time can affect lifestyles, personal relationships and work life. So, time plays a very important role in our day-to-day life, especially in the process of communication. So, therefore, chronomics on time perceptions include punctuality, interactions and willingness to wait. The more the person is waiting to receive the message, the more the person has the importance of that communication, which will either facilitate or inhibit the individual's whole process of work. So, Thomas J. Bruno was a professor of communication at Radford University, and he focused his studies on nonverbal communication, where he has used time perception and its impact on interpersonal communication, intercultural communication and coined the term chronomics. According to Thomas Bruno, chronomics as time perception plays very important role, which varies from culture to culture. It has importance in interpersonal communication and most importantly intercultural communication. So, he has defined the function of time in human interaction. As I mentioned that two people who are engaged in any kind of communication interaction, then how they are using time in transmitting the message, that defines not only their relationship, but also their essence of time that they carry when they perform any job. So, time can also be used as an indicator of status. For example, at any workplace, the boss or the CEO can hold an impromptu meeting in order to discuss any critical situation in the middle of the work day. That shows his power, that how he can use time in a very impromptu fashion. Whereas, if any middle level manager or any average worker or have to take an appointment to see the boss. So, that shows that the boss or the CEO has more power to use the time of the organization in comparison to any average worker, where he is taking appointment to meet the boss. So, the way in which different cultures perceive time can influence communication as well. Yes, because of multicultural nature of work, these kind of time perceptions have also changed a lot in different organizations, and people tend to have a flat organization where communication process is more easy. But definitely culture plays very important role when it comes to time perception. Therefore, it is said that the right drive at the right time may bring laurels. That is, when we have to speak at the right time, we will find the solution to the problem and it can bring laurels, whereas an untimely initiative may evoke harsh criticism. So, just analyzing the time where to speak and not to speak. So, time is there which will help a person to decide to filter out that what is required in a particular moment. So, it can bring laurel or it can bring criticism. Therefore, time plays a very important role in communication, not in form of indicating status, but in the form of maintaining interpersonal relationships. Alright, time perception or chronomics has two aspects, monochronic and polychronic time. It is like that. So, monochronic time system means that things are done one at a time and time is segmented into small pieces of units. So, in monochronic cultures, time is considered as an asset, as intangible, it is considered as money, and if it is wasted, it will not come back. So, this is the importance of time in monochronic cultures. So, where time is tangible and they tend to consider that one thing can only be done in a time and we cannot do multitasking. So, under this kind of system of chronomics, time is scheduled, arranged and managed. So, everything is streamlined, everything is arranged, everything is managed. There is no hustle bustle that anybody would come and perform any job at any point of given time. It is something that everybody has to follow a schedule. So, monochronic cultures place a paramount value on schedules, tasks and getting the job done. So, according to monochronic cultures, time is so important that everything has to be scheduled. There has to be some regularization that what job will take how much time and how much time has to be given to perform the task. So, everything is scheduled accordingly. So, in monochronic cultures, time is tangible, it is viewed as an asset or commodity, it is money, and time is also wasted. So, people earn time to perform job one at a time, and then if not, then it is considered that time is wasted. So, in a monochronic culture, this type of schedule may take precedence over interpersonal relationship. They would not focus on interpersonal relationship rather than performing the task in scheduled manner. Therefore, monochronic time orientation is very prominent in US cultures, North European cultures, Italy, Greece, Spain, England and Scandinavian countries. So, these are the cultures where they follow the monochronic time perceptions. The time is important, it is money, it is asset, it is wasted, will not come back, and everything is scheduled. So, this is a nature of chronomics, that is monochronic time. Apart, opposite to monochronic comes the polychronic time. So, polychronic time system is a system where several things can be done at once. Polychronic cultures consider time as a flexible unit, and at the same time they have the capacity to do multitasking when it comes to time. So, polychronic cultures are much less focused on the preciseness of accounting for time. So, there is no consideration that how much time is given to perform a particular task. They can do the task anytime. They have no consideration that how much time will be consumed in performing any task. So, there is no streamlining, there is no preciseness of accounting of time. Polychronic cultures are more focused on tradition and relationships rather than on tasks, whereas in monochronic they were focusing more on the task, less on the interpersonal relationship. But in polychronic cultures, people would focus more on interpersonal relationship, they will give more time to the interpersonal relationship and less time to the task, that it can be performed anytime, but relationship becomes their priority. Some examples of polychronic cultures are Latin America, African cultures, Arab, South Asian and Native American cultures. One more, that polychronic societies have no problem being late for an appointment, whereas in monochronic time it is considered to certain extent as an insult, whereas in polychronic it is an acceptable feature to be late for the appointment, and if they are deeply focused on some work or in a meeting, that they can ran past schedule, because the concept of time is fluid and can easily expand or contract as need to be. So, they can extend the time for any task in any point of given time. They will not feel that the other task can be delayed. They can reschedule or schedule the task as they consider time as fluid, not as money that can be wasted and will not come back, but it is fluid. So, it can be expanded or contracted as per the convenience. As a result, polychronic cultures have a much less formal perception of time, and they are not ruled by precise calendars and schedules. So, there is no streamlining of the time, it is as per their convenience, and time is fluid, it is flexible. So, this is the difference of time perception based on the cultures, that is monochronic and polychronic time cultures. The next is the mum effect. The reluctance or failure to deliver negative information is called the mum effect. The reluctance or failure, maybe the person is reluctant to convey any negative news to the other person, or maybe the person finds it difficult or he will fail to deliver any negative information to the concerned person in a very precise manner. So, the person prefers to keep mum. So, this is mum effect in the process of communication. It refers to keeping silent or mum about undesirable messages. This is very natural that we hesitate, we are reluctant to convey any negative message to the other person. So, this involves avoiding invalidating languages, that is not to arouse negative feelings. Definitely, if we are reluctant to convey any negative news, this becomes an invalidating language in terms of not using the negative words to arouse negative feelings in the other person, using validating language to make people feel accepted or recognized. For instance, two people are engaged in some form of conversation, one person would say yes, yes, you are right. So, this is something that you are validating that communication, and that kind of language you are using will you make the other person feel accepted or recognized. Conjunctive statements to make the conversation going, example, I heard you correctly and tell me more about it. So, this is something that you are supporting the conversation on behalf of the other person, and the person is more encouraged to express more about his ideas, opinions and beliefs. Whereas, it also involves disjunctive statements, that is to break the conversation. Disjunctive, that hold on, I am not convinced with what you say. Now, this is a disjunctive statements when we are trying to abruptly break the conversation because we are not agreeing to what the other person is saying. So, this is about mum effect. Now, mum effect, when we talk about invalidating the language, then it is also about not using bad words or abusive words. So, we are angry, but still we prefer to keep mum in order to not to arouse any negative feeling in the other person. So, this is a mum effect where there is reluctance of an individual to keep silent in some negative situation or transmit any negative information to the other person. So, this is another aspect of communication in terms of nonverbal communication, where there is less use of words and how the person tries to use silences in order to communicate the correct message. So, this is mum effect, the chronemics, the proxemics, the body language or the kinesthetics and paralanguage. These are all the forms of nonverbal communication, but the more important thing to focus on this discussion is that if we compare verbal and nonverbal communication, we will find it very easily that nonverbal communication is more influential, although it has no structure, no vocabulary, but still it is unfiltered, it is reliable, and definitely it is absolutely influential and have longer impact on an individual. So, we are through with this discussion about communication. We will continue about the same topic communication from different aspect in the next discussion. Thank you so much.